Last time on Suikoden, we completed the final draft episode, and there's only one more character to recruit overall in the game. Wonder who that could be. Either way, though, for the time being, we're going to continue on with the story, so, as per usual, let's get ourselves on over to the meeting room, council room, the large empty room in which we talk about our plans for the day. You know, the room. Okay, that came out of the blue. Alright, Victor's good, that's good. Humphrey's back to his non-talkative self. See, I told you, he only has so many lines of dialogue, and he used all of them. Now, if only we could get more than 3 ninjas, we'd be unstoppable. Yeah. We can't make enough boats and they know it. Oh, that's what they think. Yeah? Yeah, that's... that's impossible. Oh, well, if you say so, I believe you now. What sort of crazy scheme is Matthew gonna come up with now? So yeah, this is one of the points in which we kinda learn what happened in Kaleka. It's probably the closest you ever really come to it, and they don't say it outright. You just sort of have to realize, oh wait, Humphrey said he was in the Imperial Army and he attacked Kaleka. So they really do kind of pass it by. It's one of those blink and you'll miss it kind of things. I mean, I do kind of like how they keep it sort of vague. You know, they don't need to elaborate on it, but at the same time, it would have also been nice if they got into a little more detail about it. Because again, it's kind of hard to find other information about it. Oh right, these two dinguses exist. Aw, see, they're friends. Sometimes. Oh, I'm really sorry. Oh. I usually use them more, but I've kind of been not lately for this playthrough. That just means you haven't had enough booze. Now be careful with fire dot gift there. Don't just plant that in the middle of the fortress, that could be a danger to everyone. Why are you always eating fish when I try to communicate my feelings? I mean, I know he's supposed to be looking out the window, but like, it looks like he's just a bit too short for it, or the window's too high, so he's just looking at the wall. I know this is a dramatic scene, but he's given himself a timeout. I'm sorry, I can't help but point it out. Game, why do you think I still care about Kryn? Game, why do you still think I care about Kryn? He's not even doing anything important. He's just the worst. Somebody's gotta care about those tiny-ass soldier sprites. So yeah, I really like that scene. It's a nice scene where, you know, clearly the battle at Chassairazade is weighing on everyone's mind. They all seem a little uneasy, but, you know, not all of them are necessarily thinking about that. They're just sort of going about their business in preparation for what's to come today. And, you know, I might rag on some of the more out there choices like Gen and Commandal, because we haven't seen them in a while. Cough cough, we're about to, but, you know, it's nice that we see a little bit from everyone, not just like Humphrey and Matthew or Cleo and Pon. You know, we get Hicks and Tengar as well, and also the fishermen, and so on and so forth. Anyway, though, yeah, this is how Matthew prepared 500 boats. They're all made of ice. Now, that being said, I don't know why we needed these two for this. I mean, the dragon was pretty good, right? Did they, like, give the dragon some specs? Here are some boat dimensions, dragon. Form some fucking boats out of ice in this shape. Alright, that is finished, though. We're prepared to move ahead. Alright, so, we actually outnumber a pretty significant army. That being said, though, Sonia's actually pretty tough. Now, thankfully, we don't have to fight her on the water, considering, you know, she's the naval commander and all. And, you know, she kind of has a floating fortress. It's a good thing we're on land. That being said, though, as I'm sure the ninjas will attest, Sonia's got a few tricks up her sleeve. Her first one being her magic attack. So, of course, provided it's not a bow attack, that means we can just use the Dragon Knights to completely nullify this turn. That's a decent number. Unfortunately, Dragon Knights don't kill that many people. Okay, so they're just doing a normal charge attack, which is good. It means we can kind of just use a magic attack and blow them to smithereens. Also, I like how Crowley is in the Children of the Runes section. Here's two kids and a very old man. Alright, doing good so far, but of course we're kind of running out of ways to just take them out in one fell swoop without getting our own people injured. Which, you know, as good as... there's the other thing. Sonia also has a charge attack. I think that's the first time we've actually seen that. Most of the generals only have one signature attack. Sonia has two. She's got a magic attack and a charge attack. Anyway, though, as I was saying, it kind of sucks that you had this whole nice scene where everybody was preparing for the next battle, but then you have the Suikoden 1 major battles, which kind of suck because they're a fairly bland game of rock, paper, scissors. And the merchants fucked up. Oh well. You'd think that would have worked. Alright, come on, Kryn. We've got this. You can do it. Please, for once, actually succeed. Hooray! He actually did it, even though I probably would have guessed that they were going to use a bow attack. Oh well. Anyway, though, yeah, it's a bit of a shame that Suikoden 1's major battles are so anticlimactic, because it was a really well-done lead-up, and everyone was, you know, worried about the death toll, but, it's really hard to get people killed off in Suikoden 1 major battles. Like, I've never seen it happen, and I wouldn't know that that could happen if not for the internet. By the way, remember how the Knights Party was one of the weakest groups in the army? Because it was only Quan? Guess what, fuckers? It's Maximilian. He makes it the strongest one. That being said, though, yeah, we defeated the Imperial Army without that high a death toll. That's pretty good, if I do say so myself. Alright, with that being done, I actually used this opportunity to go back and record the previous episode, since we have all our slots open. Upon going to this scene, though, we're going to lose one of them. It's only one for once, though. That's not actually bad. For some reason, this is the one fortress we really just want to destroy. The rest of them, fine, whatever, but fuck this specific one. Alright, so Victor's going to come along because, of course, for story purposes, you always have to have at least one character. That being said, Flick and Humphrey are going to leave, as will Lucan. I guess if you were a huge Lucan fan, you're going to be disappointed at this scene because you don't get to use him, but, yeah, I don't think most people are going to care. Flick and Humphrey are actually significant, though. Losing them might put you back a few characters if you use them regularly. You might have to use someone you're not used to. Anyway, though, added Kage. He's got the Wind Rune, not very good at using it. Sarah's actually got pretty good stats, considering she, you know, usually washes clothes and all. She's actually pretty good, and not that magical. You might have noticed that I completely forgot to rearrange characters. I'm going to continue not doing that. Anyway, though, Kage is an extremely fast character. In fact, only one enemy in this entire area outspeeds him. The rest are fairly standard. They're good all-arounders. I didn't really notice any significant strengths in any of them at the moment, unfortunately, so I probably wasn't using them long enough. Ah, well. Anyway, though, Chassairazade is actually a really cool-looking area. The tile set of, like, the fortress walls and whatnot's a little repetitive, but honestly, I'm a sucker for water areas, so, like, this fortress is extremely cool, and I would like to see a reimagining of it, because I think it could be, like, one of the coolest dungeons in the game. Other than that, though, it's fairly straightforward, and again, a little repetitive on the tile set. Anyway, though, forgetting to rearrange my party was actually a demo so you could see the Sirens attack, because you're never going to see it otherwise. Anyway, the Sirens actually have a 0.78% chance of dropping the Flowing Rune, the upgraded Water Rune, and a 2.35% chance of dropping the Sound Rune, number 3 to be specific. So yeah, unfortunately it's not in an item box, but it is one of the easier to acquire ones. We'll be getting that near the end of the dungeon, of course. For the time being, though, I suppose since there's not a lot to go over in the fortress itself, other than, you know, the running water actually sounds kind of nice and is a cool background, we're going to go over the upgraded runes, finally. Yeah, I know it's been ages. Of course, we have another set of enemies we haven't seen yet, but, I'll talk about them in between, I suppose. Actually, we're about to run into them, so I might as well wait a moment. So how about that guard ring, huh? Yeah, don't worry, the enemy's right here. So yeah, these are elite soldiers. They're slightly better than the soldiers we saw previously. Not by much, though. The fact that they do come in groups now actually make them a threat, because even with level 16 weapons all around, they soak up enough damage to not die in one hit. They all attack pretty quickly, and they're fairly strong. As you can see there. They also have a high tendency to counter, though I don't know if you're going to see that against this particular encounter, but trust me, Qasim and Warren both had a lot of trouble actually hitting these guys. Also nice. But anyway, yeah. Elite soldiers are actually pretty tough at this point in the game. Anyway, though, there are 5 upgraded runes, of course. The Thunder Rune, Rage Rune, Flowing Rune, Cyclone Rune, and the Mother Earth Rune. Most of those are fairly obvious as to what their upgrades do, except the Rage Rune. That's the Fire Rune upgrade. So the nice thing about the upgraded runes is the fact that, like, the top tier spells for the former elemental runes are the first spells for the upgraded runes. And remember, this game uses spell slots, meaning, like, you have a rune with a level 4 AoE spell on the normal rune, which is pretty good, but you don't get many uses of it. Now, that changes completely for the upgraded runes, because now you have plenty of uses for the like AoE spells, like all the high damaging ones that hit multiple enemies. Yeah, you get a lot of uses of those on a good magic user, so unfortunately they aren't actually available in shops, so you do have to rely on actually getting them as drops from enemies. Speaking of drops, I got a flowing crystal before the sound setting. Yeah, I got the thing that's harder to get. Anyway, though, in addition, there's also, like, at least one of each upgraded rune that can be found in, like, chests and dungeons and whatnot. Anyway, here's the Shell Venus. Shell Venus has an entire 1500 HP, 470 power, 80 skill, 40 defense, 80 speed, 350 magic, and 100 luck. It's weak to electricity and earth and strong against everything else except the Resurrection Rune, to which it's just neutral. So Shell Venus starts pretty easy, and it's kind of a joke because we dodged its attack. It was single target, and Mir just fucking said, nah, I don't feel like getting hit by that. That being said, though, you should take note of its high HP and magic. The high HP, of course, just makes it a gigantic damage sponge, which, you know, is kind of fitting since it's a sea creature and all. Different kind of sea creature, but whatever, it works. I said it works, so it does. The other thing, though, is that 350 magic is there for a reason. We're going to see soon. Not right there, though it did hit me that time, that Shell Venus actually has some pretty good tricks up its sleeve. By which I mean it has one good trick up its sleeve. And honestly, it's kind of the same trick that all enemies at this point in the game have, if they're tough. While it may be slow, it can attack the entire party for a pretty hefty amount of damage. Of course, it didn't affect Mir much, but A, he's high-leveled, and B, I think his resistance is pretty good anyway. And unfortunately, this party just isn't that good at magic overall. Thankfully, though, it's good at crits and dealing damage, so it's got that going for it. Unfortunately, though, Sarah not being the best healer is not working in my favor. And of course, Kage's an even worse healer, and he doesn't have a party healing spell, which is even worse. Which is unfortunate. I mean, he did have the shredding, but that didn't really help him that much. I wasn't paying attention to damage, but I don't think it's that different than his normal attack. I mean, he is at a level 16 weapon, so it probably is better than actually him using magic, because his magic's not amazing. Like Crystal Core, it's a really good thing that boss didn't go on for too long, because if it did, I absolutely could not damage race it. I don't have the resources, I'm quickly running out of medicines. It was just bad all around. Alright, check this out, this is the reason Victor's with us. Look at him go! Check it out, he's got a unique sprite for climbing up stuff. It's a pretty good sprite, to be fair. Alright, so that takes care of that. We got the Thunder Rune, thank goodness for that. In addition, quick thing I need to make note of. Remember last episode when I talked about how there's no unite attacks for runes? While I was looking stuff up today, I found out that that's not true, actually. There are unite attacks for runes. I've never actually seen them before, or used them, so I completely forgot that those existed. So, yeah, I might actually have to show that off if I can. It might only be done with the upgraded runes, I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, I'll look into that more for the bonus episode when I'm going to do unite attacks anyway. More importantly, though, we have Sonya here. Hey, I mean, the rest are still alive, barring, you know, the one you were in love with and all. Yeah, sorry you're not guilt-tripping me about this. I know we've killed people, but, like, so does the Empire, and, that's a little early for that. We're kinda still in the fortress. Not for the entire continent, just for this one fortress, jeez. I know this is a dramatic set piece for our battle, but you don't have to be dramatic. Unfortunately, though, we don't get to see the fire on the battlefield, because that actually would have been cool as hell. Anyway, you know how we usually duel characters when they're on their own? Yeah, Sonya's tough enough where she doesn't do that, we're just ganging up on her. Plus, we probably shouldn't waste time with the fire and all. The walkthrough I used kind of made a big deal about Sonya being super tough, and while she does have a pretty high attack power, which, by the way, 6,000 HP, 480 power, 125 skill, 110 defense, 160 speed, 390 magic, 120 luck, and she's strong against every element. She doesn't have a weakness, though she is neutral against resurrection. She's not that tough. Again, she hits hard, but the walkthrough made it out to seem like Sonya was way tougher than Shell Venus, which, honestly, no. Unless I missed it, I don't think Sonya has a party attack. To be fair, though, the guide I'm using also made the crystal core out to not be a big deal when it very nearly killed my party, so I don't know, maybe whoever wrote that just had a really good strategy for things that can kill you with AoEs? I don't know. Oh, one more thing I missed about the runes, though, and something I really want to mention. The Mother Earth rune actually has a pretty major glitch associated with it. Its level 4 spell is supposed to raise the defense and magic defense for all members of the party, except it's glitched, so it doesn't do anything at all. That's a fucking Final Fantasy I-ass glitch, and I don't know how they screwed it up. It sucks that the Mother Earth rune's, like, 4th level spell is completely useless. Hey, Victor, good on you for preventing her from leaping into the fire, but, like, maybe not the best choice of words for someone who just said defile? Kind of a weird thing overall to say to someone when you save them, even disregarding that? Oh shit. So, yeah, that's another really well done scene. It's a bit of a shame that we didn't really get much of Sanchez's character up until this point because again, it was a really well done scene. I actually find him interesting there. Whereas previously, unfortunately, he was kind of just there to sort of fill in the details. Like, there wasn't much to his character outside of he'd tell us about the place we were about to go to. The other shame, of course, is the fact that Mir was just facing forward the entire time. For some reason, they didn't have him, like, I don't know, face left or right in the direction of things that are happening. He just sort of stared off into space. Kinda like how he's just staring at the staircase here. I'm not listening in on this private conversation, don't mind me. So, now that Sonia's in jail, we should talk to her. I mean, we recruited basically everyone else from the Imperial Army other than my dad here, so I don't know, let's try it. You have a point there. Nah, we don't mind. I mean, to be fair, that's probably why a few other people are here. I mean, it's not like I trust Ruby or anything. So yeah, that's actually the 108th character in the game. You know, barring the dead one. And of course, as per usual, like everyone else, Sonia hangs out with the rest of the former Imperial characters. There she is. Alright, so, with that done, we take our final post-mission bath. Because next time on Suikoden, the war comes closer to its end. However, we are in a desperate situation. We only have a small window of opportunity to attack the Empire, and our chief strategist has been injured. Although we may be winning, it seems that time's not on our side.